Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Little Friends. It's episode number 64 and today we are going to do a very cool build, and that's the reason actually why I love this one is because I'm doing a roundabout, elevated one, on top of some train tracks. It's going to be looking pretty damn cool. And this build, it is from Paris, but it's not going to be placed in a specific point. It's going to be random in Little France, like any other builds. And this roundabout, as you can see here, it's right on top of the train tracks next to Gare Lazare from Paris, but I'm going to build it right next to Limoges train station, and that is because we already have some train tracks there and we need to do a continuity. And I really love this one. Look at this. So we have some one-way roads, we have two-way roads all over the places. Love the roundabout idea. Here I saw we have like I think this is a parking area over here, and I'm gonna do something differently and much smaller, but let's say I'm gonna take inspiration from that. And the buildings surrounding these also, I'm gonna take inspiration from these ones. But on my map, or the place where I'm doing this, right next to this road we have the Seine River. So yeah, it is going to be placed, as I said, randomly, but let's say hopefully actually it's going to be done in a good place. Maybe there would have been a better place, but I think it is a very good one. And getting back to the time-lapse over here, first I had to clean up, of course, the area, and then I had to think of a way on how to get those train tracks actually a bit lower, because as you can see, if I continue with the same height, then they will crash into the bridge, and that's not bueno. But well, it is what it is. I made a boo-boo when I firstly done this train station here, because I should have sunken the train tracks a little bit more, but it is what it is. So I have to deal with it, and now I have to lower the train tracks a tiny bit more. Well, trains can go, of course, on lower take these ramps and go higher, lower, whatever. It is doable, right? And especially if the ramp has a very nice and smooth slope. Good. Anyways, so I kinda have to do or to rebuild a tiny bit this area, or to rethink it, not to rebuild it, but to rethink it, because also, if you can see at the bottom of the screen, there was another road, a road having some tram tracks as well, and those ones will kinda go towards nowhere, which means I'm gonna show you this later, which means that at a point I have to do something else. And by something else, I mean at the end of that road I have to build a tram depot. That can be the only explanation or the only way of doing this one. So yeah, I really have to, and of course, in case I'm not gonna find a different solution, which I doubt. But yeah, I'm gonna do a tram depot over there. So cars and the trams will start from there. We'll leave from there and come there, and so on. And then yeah, we will have some, let's say, specific places for some cars where to park for those, the tram drivers. By the way, now that I've mentioned this one, I'm gonna drop off a question to you guys, or not a question, but a more like a request maybe. If you have any really good ideas of some tram depots from France, no matter which city it is, please do let me know in the comment section, so I can have a look and maybe do that build. I've done the same with the bus hub that I made from Lyon. You guys come up with some good ideas, but I had to choose only one indeed. Anyways, so yeah, who knows, maybe this tram depot will be the one you mentioned. So yeah, hit me up with that one. Good. now that we have the tram tracks there, time to do the roundabout on top of these train tracks, not tram, train. And it's not hard, actually. It's quite easy. I had to look on Google Earth to see the direction for all these roads, how many lanes they have, if they have parking, let's say, lots on the roadsides and whatnot. And then, of course, with the help of the roundabout builder mod, easy peasy, one quick roundabout creation. And then with the help of the intersection marking tool and with the help of node controller, actually, I'm gonna do a perfect roundabout, because the node controller allows you to move and to play with the angles for the roads, angles for the intersections and whatnot. And those actually are, this mod helps you fix up the entire roundabout over here. So in the end, it's going to look pretty damn cool, in my opinion. And we have some catenaries going through those roads, but no worries, I'm gonna fix that one. Pretty easy fix. But anyways, as I said, love doing roundabouts, guys, as you know, and an elevated one is actually pretty cool. And the only way of doing this properly, in my opinion, was to use roads as to force them actually to stay at the ground level, let's say, and not turn them into a bridge, right? But elevated them on so they can look like they look now. Because otherwise, if I would have turned them into bridges from the start, then we would have had railings all over the places, including the middle of the roundabout, and that's not bueno. So I had to force them to take the terrain to be flat and just elevated and nothing else. But when you do this, you have those ugly sidewalks, right? And I had to think of a solution on how to hide those ugly areas of those roads, and I found a solution eventually, a solution that took me some time to do, but all in all, quite easy fix as well. So I have to admit that, and to say out loud there, that everything has a quick fix nowadays in City Skylines. I don't know if there is any, build or whatever that cannot be fixed, cannot be fixed. So everything has a solution now in City Skylines, thanks to all mod creators and asset creators. So what I've done there, I've been using these I want to say fences, but they're not fences. I've been using these ones, these balustrades, they are called actually, from Monaco. That's how they look like and are. So I've been using these and played a bit with their shape, made them smaller and whatnot, so they can hide that ugly area, that sidewalk that you see there. And then and when I say they hide that, I mean both directions, horizontal and vertical one, and just plop them one by one until I manage to fix everything there and to hide everything, every ugly area of that one. Let's say the remaining ugly area is going to be covered with some ploppable pavement, so all those areas that are empty or look like gravel, they will be hidden as well under some ploppable pavement. And that's it. Simple and easy fix. Later on, I'm gonna also change the color of these balustrades because they are brownish now, and I want to make them a tiny bit grayish. So I'm gonna find a solution of repainting them to find a combination of colors that will turn them into a grayish area, color, not area. Now, dealing with the parking area over here, the parking garage, let's call it. So I had to find a solution and some combinations between some buildings, and I found a working parking area and two other small ones, but the small ones will be turned into procedural objects. So by doing that, I can, make them smaller, reshape them and whatnot, but I'm gonna leave the big one so cars can actually come there and park inside that parking garage, right? And then I had some extra, checks with the Google Earth to see if I'm getting any closer to the look of that parking garage from real life. And as you know, that one is way much bigger. But hey, I had a smaller space to fill, so I couldn't make it that big. And you know what? It's just inspiration. Little France is just French inspiration. But in the end, I don't know, it was that something, and I wasn't totally sure if everything is correctly done or if I have to do some extra things. So I'm gonna add an extra building on top of that garage to make it look more realistic. In the meantime, I'm gonna just fix the sidewalks, as I said. I'm gonna just uncover them up with these plumbable asphalt. And as a tip, let's say, in the very, let's say, squeezed areas or whatever they are called, when you have some strange angles or anything related to that, just use the round shape, either it's plumbable asphalt or pavement or grass or whatever, because this one has multiple little dots that can be moved so you can create your own shape. Okay, getting back to the garage there, I found the train station made by Jez from or a metro station, and yeah, I said okay, let's turn this into a procedural object, cover things up, squeeze everything there, because actually in the end you will see it will have a more. It will have a more similarity with the existing one from Paris. In my opinion, at least, that's what I thought. So yeah, I think in the end we will have the best, or the best possible, not scenario, but the best possible look. For sure, there will be a better, if I would have had more time, or maybe if I stay and think about it now, maybe I can find even a much better solution, because everything has a better solution, and in time you might find assets that can help you in that way. I had some looks over the Steam Workshop, but in the end, I don't know, I ended up with this train station or metro station, whatever that is. And because I cannot color the entrances with red color like they are in real life, as I said, I turned them into a procedural object, and with the help of the colored rectangulars, you can just cover some areas and actually repaint them properly. I mean, yeah, they will look pretty close to the real one. I had to do an extra trick with the road over there to make some different curves, to make sure to make sure everything will look okay in the end, because those buildings would have been on top of the road, so I had to make different shapes. And then I said, okay, let's go with the road also inside the garage, getting on the other side, so this way we can actually see cars driving into the garage and outside, and yeah, it will trick you guys thinking that it's a proper garage there, so cars will actually do drive inside them. The last trick, of course, adding that black black cube inside to make things look like it's dark inside. You know, when you go from outside to inside, always it's that few seconds when you see it darker. Whew. So that was done. Then I've done the lines inside the roundabout, and now the most boring part, adding buildings one by one. Yes, I always thought and still think that it is very, very boring to add buildings one by one. I think that this is one of the most, or it's a thing that I really do hate. And now that I mention it, I've posted let's say a message to all my patrons, no matter what level they are. if you guys want to take the save game, because you can download the save game, and by the way, I think very soon, like today, tomorrow, the new save game for this episode is going to be released also on my Patreon account. You guys, all my patrons, can help with some builds like this one. Look at this build that I'm doing here. I'm filling in those shapes, those areas with buildings. Yes, taking inspiration from Paris or other French cities. And you can do that if you want to. You can add your own little residential areas, and you can send them to me, and I can import them in some empty areas from Little France. And if you are interested to do so, just let me know, and I can share with you what areas you can build so I can import, because I don't want either you or me to work both on the same one, and then I will have to just waste time and you waste time as well. So let's just talk before, and you guys can help, because trust me, Little France is huge and there are so many empty areas that needs to be filled in with new and more residential buildings. And by the way, I'm ashamed to tell you these guys, but I figured out why at the level of this city we still have like 5K population. And I was like, why, God, why? And then I was checking some buildings and I got not shocked, but I was like surprised, very surprised, seeing that many of these French residential buildings are not actually residential. Most of them are commercial or offices, most of them. And only a very small part is residential. So hell yeah, it makes sense now why the population is still only 70-ish K, and still I don't see that many cars driving around the city. So hello Skibitth, welcome to the real world. Anyways, I can fix this by, let's say, two ways. I can add inside all of these buildings, I can add those residential cubes so we can bring people. But you know what? Then again, I thought to myself, man, you know what? It's good that we have only 75K population, because otherwise, probably the FPS of the game would have been horrible. Super horrible. Okay, good. Coming back over here, I had to get some to do my own inspiration now. I had to use my inspiration for this part, because again, it's not a perfect inspirational build, because here where I'm doing these buildings, there are the Gare Lazare from Paris. So I'm not gonna do the Gare, that train station. I had to do something else, so I had to improvise and just do some stuff. And I thought, okay, you know what, will be perfectly here. Some more, I want to say, modern buildings than the very old French ones. And I've added some like offices or whatever they are. Offices. They should look like offices in real life. And then some of them had this parking area on top of it. And I said, okay, you know what? I can do even more. I can add a parking area over there on top of those buildings. I don't know why. I felt it was right, probably. And you know what? In the end, it's going to be fine-ish. Again, something else that is still missing from Little France is the foliage. We don't have too many trees, and I know we should add more. I should add more, but the reason why I'm not adding more trees right now, it's again FPS problems. You know, as soon as I'm gonna add like 100K trees, the FPS is going to be unbearable. So I still have to stay away a bit, because eventually I'm gonna add some suburbs or the peripheral, I want to say, but it's not word in English, I think, right? Anyways, I'm gonna add the suburbs of the city with low density houses, maybe some, who knows, little forests, little farms, quarries, because I saw that around Paris, at least, and not only, there are so many quarries, right? Yes, and I should add one eventually. So yeah, I have to get to that point very soon as well, because otherwise not gonna be bueno. I mean, it's not going to be super realistic, at least when you look at the city from the top. Good. Minute 21-ish, 22. Just adding the, let's say, final touches over here. I'm gonna add some trees inside the area of these buildings, so I can, you know, cover up some ugly areas, because I cannot detail every single bit of Little France. Again, FPS problems otherwise. So yeah, only small areas will gonna get this extra detailing. For instance, we are here next to the Seine River, and I have to cover everything, the area, let's say the riverside area, a bit with some trees, some benches maybe. I want to make people get down there on the riverside, so they can actually walk. Eventually I'm gonna add more boats standing up there. I'm gonna add a few more ferries going all over the Seine River and whatnot. We need a bit more of, let's say, lively city, and adding here another metro station like it is there in Paris. But yeah, getting very close to the end of this episode as well, guys. So before ending it, I wanna say again, you can find a new save game on my Patreon. Unfortunately, I'm sharing my save games only with my patrons. I say unfortunately because some of you guys really want to use them, but it's one of the things I can give in return to those who support me on my Patreon account. And yeah, I can share them only there. And also, I saw lately many of you guys are asking me about the map theme and the LUT. These are also being shared on my Patreon account with you guys, either together with the save games or separately. So yeah, sorry for not sharing that also with every one of you. Yeah, guys, thank you so very much for watching this. I will leave you now with the cinematics. Talk to you soon, right, in the next video or so. But till then, guys, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I salute you.